Welcome to the Retire Ready podcast. I am your host, Scott Sather, and this is episode 1 of what is hopefully many episodes to come. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and what better time to start than now? Today, we're going to talk a bit about who I am, who this podcast is for, why I've started the podcast, and why you should listen in and hopefully subscribe. So who am I and why should you listen? Well, as I said, my name is Scott Sather. I am the founder, president, and financial planner at Awaken Wealth Management and portfolio manager of Awaken Investments of Aligned Capital Partners here in Regina, Saskatchewan. I work with clients who are 10 to 20 years out from retirement or already retired. I help them to simplify their journey to financial freedom. I've been doing that for roughly 23 years of the 26 years I've been in the financial services industry. I've seen a lot of things over those years. Both good and bad. And I feel I can help a lot of people to avoid some of the mistakes I've seen and help them live their best retirement. So why have I started a podcast? Well, like I said, this is something I've wanted to do for quite some time. In fact, I think this microphone was purchased back in 2020. So it's been on the top of my mind and then bottom and now back again. Hat tip to a few advisors out there that gave me the push to just do it. Carl Richards, Cameron Passmore, Keith Matthews, Joe Curry, Mark Walhout, and Sam Lickman, just to name a few. Thanks, gentlemen. So again, why? Well, I enjoy podcasts. I've listened to many over the years and find them to be a great tool to be informed on topics. One of the things that drew me into the industry some 26 years ago was the ability to help people make better money decisions and choices. Financial services industry does a bad job of shaming people into selling them products that they usually do not understand. They're likely paying too much for, and honestly probably don't need. I want to provide Canadians with the information they need to help break down or simplify some of these complex retirement strategies, allowing them to make confident and educated decisions towards their plans and goals. So doing the podcast will allow me to reach many who I typically wouldn't be able to have a conversation with, and to be able to keep my clients better informed as well. One of the goals in my practice is to help to simplify the strategies in building and protecting my clients' wealth. Another issue within our industry is making things complicated to create necessity. So the goal is to share 10 to 20 minutes of relevant, simple information to help you be better prepared for retirement and everything that comes with that. So whether you're on your commute to work or getting out for a walk or run, you can tune in and become a better investor and be ready for all things financial. It'll be mostly myself talking because I've got some opinions on things and I want to share them with you. But I will look to bring in different guest speakers, both locally and nationally and globally as time goes on. Our topics are going to focus on retirement and the steps you should be taking to plan for it. So this probably won't be the podcast for you if you're looking for information on buying a first house or education savings for the kids, but who knows what might come down the road. Having said that, things like purchasing a cottage or buying a place south of the border would likely be topics we will cover, or even financial independence from your career job, but still working in retirement, doing more of the projects and things you enjoy. We're also not going to be providing investment advice or stock tips. If you're looking for that, this is not the place for you. Having said that, investing and investment planning is a part of a retirement planning process, so we will be covering some of these things from a broad standpoint. Staying healthy in and out of retirement will be another topic we'll cover, as what's the point of saving for retirement if you're not able to actually enjoy that next stage of life. Our first few episodes will be covering financial advice. Do you need an advisor? And if you do, what should you be looking for in that person? What questions should you ask? And as a bit of a teaser for those episodes, today we're going to briefly talk about the investment F word, fiduciary. Fiducia what? Yeah, fiduciary, meaning is your advisor or planner a fiduciary? Well, first, what the heck is a fiduciary? It comes from the Latin word fidere, which means to trust. If we turn to Investopedia, the definition is a person or organization that acts on behalf of another person or persons, putting their client's interests ahead of their own, with the duty to preserve good faith and trust. Being a fiduciary thus requires being bound both legally and ethically to act in the other's best interests. Surprisingly, most Canadian advisors do not have to act as a fiduciary to their clients, and instead only have to do what's suitable. That's like going in to buy your wedding dress or tuxedo, and the person selling it to you only has to make sure it fits. Not that it actually looks good on you, or is that it's the best option for your circumstances. Now, I won't go much further on that today, as it's a rabbit hole that could take hours. Yeah, I think that is it for today's first episode. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. If you have questions or would like questions answered on future podcasts, please email me at info@awakenwealth.ca. New episodes of the Retire Ready podcast will be out on a semi-monthly basis, so the 1st and 15th of the month. Be sure to subscribe to stay in the know. You can also check out the Wake Up semi-monthly newsletter at the Awaken Wealth site, which is awakenwealth.ca. Thanks again for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you back for the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the Retire Ready podcast. To subscribe to this podcast or to learn more, please head on over to awakenwealth.ca/Retire Ready podcast. Investment services are provided through Awaken Investments of Align Capital Partners Incorporated, an approved trade name of Align Capital Partners Inc. /ACPI. Only investment-related products and services are offered through ACPI or Awaken Investments of ACPI and covered by the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Tax planning, financial planning, and insurance services are provided through Awaken Wealth Management Limited. Awaken Wealth is an independent company separate and distinct from ACPI or Awaken Investments of ACPI. Awaken Wealth are not licensed tax professionals, and you should consult with your tax advisor before acting on any recommendations. Investments and investing strategy should be evaluated based on your own objectives. Listeners of this podcast should use your best judgment and consult a financial expert prior to making any investment decisions based on the information found in this podcast.